Hello again, I am Blunty. Been having a rough few days, to be honest with you. A bit of a bad mental health headspace situation going on, and I've been pretty much radio silent here on YouTube and on Twitter and even my own Discord and stuff like that. It's been hard to open my mouth and react to anything without just being sort of bitter and angry about it. It's just kind of the headspace I've been in. So I've just been keeping to myself, trying not to interact with people, because if I do, it just makes me aggro. So I've just been playing Monster Hunter Rise and watching Mythbusters, and that's been keeping me perfectly lovely and stable and quiet and relatively happy, as opposed to any other activity, which I find almost instant frustration with, including when I wake up this morning and started looking at the Twitters and catching up on what was going on, seeing that Ubisoft have stuck their flag in the ground as the first AAA, whatever the fuck that means anymore, game publisher to include NFTs in their games. And if your first reaction is, well, I bet that went over really well with the average gamer, you're right. I'll link to their Twitter post in the down below so you can scroll through the replies yourself. But suffice to say, a lot of people are telling them what I told them, and that is to fuck off, because NFTs are horrible things that only idiots think are good things. NFTs, outside of gaming, NFTs are notorious scams. They are a grift. And I see far more stories about people getting tricked, getting scammed, having their money taken off them, just being exposed as complete friggin' morons, chugging the NFT Kool-Aid until their life falls apart on them. And it's ridiculous that anyone falls for it, given the amount of information that is out there about the amount of people who are being tricked, who are being cheated, who are being grifted, about the money laundering that's going on around these things, about the complete bullshit line that is being told about NFTs, that it's a non-corporate thing and stored on the blockchain, so it's completely secure. It's not secure. It doesn't do anything that we can't already do with other better methods that have been around for decades. It won't take you long at all to find a bunch of stories about NFT bros and crypto bros and NFT drones, as I've started calling them, being tricked, being scammed out of their thousands of dollars worth of pixelated monkey pictures and bullshit. It's a grift. Get it? And NFTs in video games add nothing of worth to the gamer. Including NFTs in a video game either after the fact, like has been done with Ubisoft's Ghost Recon. What's the subtitle of the damn thing? Breakpoint. I don't care about Ghost Recon at all. There are other Ubisoft games I do care about, that if this becomes pervasive in Ubisoft design philosophy, because they've made this thing not exclusive to Breakpoint. Breakpoint's just the first place they're putting it. But if they put it in games I care about, I'm kind of done with Ubisoft. I'm not going to touch their games ever again if this becomes pervasive in their material. And one of the most exciting Ubisoft games I can think of off the top of my head is the Mario Rabbids sequel, because that was an amazingly good game, a complete surprise of a good game, because I don't normally play that style of game, that sort of XCOM style of game. I've never gotten in them before. Mario Rabbids, I got given a code from the Ubisoft Australian team. I gave it a go and went, holy crap, this is amazingly fun. And then the sequel was announced at E3 last year, I think, or whatever it was. And I went, yes, more of that. But if there's going to be NFTs in it, well, no, you can fuck right off, Ubisoft. And including NFTs in a game from the design point only makes the game worse. In no way can including NFTs in a game from a design point of view make the game any better, any more fun. The only thing you can do is make it worse, just like microtransactions in general have made gaming worse. And again, we can point directly to Ubisoft for this. The Assassin's Creed games, the later ones, and all the nefarious, sneaky, greasy bullshit they've done with NFTs in that, or not NFTs, with microtransactions in that series, is only going to be compounded by the inclusion of NFTs in that style of thing. Because NFTs are a complete grift. It's turning an entertainment product into a financial manipulation product. That can't make the game better. It cannot make the game better. It will not. It is impossible. I'm going to read you a tweet from Skill Up, a fellow Australian game content guy. None of this stuff makes video games any better. It doesn't make them more fun or interesting. It just turns them into a proxy financial instrument, corrupting their core design and exposing them to market forces that will enrich some but exclude and disappoint most. This sucks. And he's dead right. It sucks. It's stupid. It's abusive. And it will make games worse. And I can already hear the echoes of the defense team for NFTs, because I hear the same thing every time I say something bad about NFTs. They always parrot up the same stuff. They regurgitate this stuff without even thinking about it in any reasonable way. They just, oh, this is what I have to say to defend NFTs, because I stand to gain from NFTs, because I've spent money in NFTs, and if people realize they're a big scam, then I lose money. Because that's the only reason anyone would defend NFTs, because they stand to lose money if someone realizes what an absolute scam they are. NFTs are supposed to be non-fungible tokens, and that means you've got absolute proof that you own a thing, and that thing can only go up in value, and you're going to make it rich, and these are investments, except none of that's true. You don't own the thing. An NFT is, and it's in the name, a token. It's a receipt that says you owned this thing, except it's not even that. It says you own the address on the blockchain that points to this thing. This JPEG, this of a pixelated monkey, or whatever it is, anything. It's an absolute scam. You don't own it. You can't do anything with it. It's just a token. And it's not even secure. As I pointed out at the start of the video, it will take you seconds of searching to find dozens upon dozens upon dozens, endless stories about crypto bros and NFT drones being scammed out of their stuff because it's not secure. It's not any more secure than what we already have in video games, which is an account system that keeps things in a regular database. So all of my DLC for Monster Hunter, for example, that lives on a database that is behind my account system. Well, not my account system, but their account system that, my account, the links to their account system that keeps these things on a database saying, hey, Blunty, he paid for this thing. He gets access to this thing in his game. Done. Oh, but if with NFTs, you can sell it to other players. How does that make the game better? It doesn't. It just makes it a financial tool for people to exploit, and in no way will it ever make a better game. And that's what we want. We want better games. These are entertainment products. We play them to have fun, not to financially gamble on bullshit and scams and grifts. Fuck off with your NFTs in games. Get the fuck out. Oh, but NFTs are decentralized. They live on the blockchain. That means we can have a future where you buy DLC in one game and you can use it in another game. Well, that's horseshit as well, because that needs that thing, that JPEG, that skin, that gun, that hat, whatever it is, to be supported in both games to begin with, which means there needs to be communication and cooperation between those two games, two disparate companies perhaps. We can already do that if we wanted to. All we have to do is get the companies to agree to share that database across one another, saying, hey, Blunty owns, this funny Mario hat in this game, and if you've got in your game, that asset is in your game, well, then we can share this information and you can use it there too. You don't need NFTs for that. You just need companies to work together. We already have something like this in the fact that we can cloud save and cross save. So I can, for example, use my save in a game like Dauntless on any platform that game exists on. And I can use any DLC that I've purchased in that game, my Hunt Pass in that game. I haven't played it for ages. I don't know what that sort of stuff is even like in the game these days. It's changed a lot since I last played it. But the point is, I have an account with Dauntless, the people who make Dauntless, and they share that account across the different platforms already. And if they wanted to, they could make an arrangement with another company, shake hands and go, hey, these assets we've got in our games, these DLC assets that people have paid for, you can include those in your games, and we can just agree that, to show proof that this person has purchased this. You don't need NFTs to do any of this stuff. NFTs do not improve anything that NFT proponents claim that they're great for. We already have systems in place to do this that don't rely on blockchain, that don't rely on the environmentally devastating bullshit, that don't rely on grifters, that don't rely on a system that encourages scam artists to trick people out of thousands of dollars worth of their money. You absolutely do not own any game asset that you purchase through an NFT or even DLC, because these things exist within the game. Therefore, they are the property of the people who made that asset in the first place. The copyright, the trademark, all of that still belongs to Ubisoft or whoever. You own a token that points to an address that points to this specific thing, and it can be taken away from you. Just like any DLC can be taken away from you. Anything you purchase with a microtransaction in any game, regardless of the system in use, can be taken away from you when that game gets shut down. It happens all the fucking time, you morons. Blockchain is not going to protect you from that. If the blockchain address points to a thing that doesn't exist anymore, you own something worthless still. Even if the address still exists, the thing it points to doesn't. Idiots. And even if blockchain was the best way to do this, to share, ownership of a game asset between disparate games, you still need everyone's cooperation to do that, because you still need to include that asset in the game in the first place. And games are built on different game engines to begin with. They have different asset libraries. So you still need a lot of work to go into manually doing that in the first place. And if you're going to do that, why not just make an arrangement with the games that you're sharing between anyway? You don't need blockchain to do it. It makes it harder to do it if you include blockchain, because that's a third pillar. Instead of cooperating directly between the two games or three games that you're trying to communicate with, just sharing a common database link or sharing an account structure or anything like that, then you've got to account for the blockchain itself, which is a completely separate entity run by someone completely different. And you don't own anything anyway, because it's just a token. It's just an address to a link that can disappear. And they have disappeared. There's something called rugging in crypto terms. And it happens so often they've had to come up with a term for it, because it came out of having the rug pulled out from under you. That old turn of phrase. Go, whoop, the rug got pulled out from under me. So, someone did a thing to trip me up and I wasn't expecting that. Well, now in crypto, they call it rugging. They needed a shorter term for it because it happens so often and so frequently, and they never learn from their mistakes, because anyone interested in crypto or NFTs is a moron who can't see the world for what it is around them. So they needed to call it rugging, because they just use the term so often. It got so tiring to say, I got scammed, or I got the rug pulled from under me, or I got tricked. They just call it rugging now because it sounds cuter and more accessible and less confronting than being scammed, because you're a moron who likes NFTs and crypto and thinks they're a fantastic idea when they're not. Oh, but imagine if NFTs were pervasive in games and you could earn a thing in game, not even pay for it, just you could win it. You could get it like an RNG drop. You got this real cool piece of loot, but then you don't want to use it, so you can use the NFT system. You can use the blockchain to sell that to another person. That already exists too. We call it real money transactions or auction houses and stuff like that. And they're in a lot of different games, particularly MMOs, and they exist already. You don't need the blockchain to do that either. And again, if you wanted to move it to a different game, there are ways to do that without blockchain that are easier, simpler, more efficient as well. If you wanted to do it within the same game, that already exists in games and has done for literally decades. And by the way, these real money transaction systems that sort of exist either within or without a game, sort of in the periphery, just, outside of the game engine itself, with people sort of trading these things or selling these things to one another outside of the game environment itself. Most of the time, this is considered a crappy thing within the community. There are a few people who do it, and it hurts everyone else in the game. Just looking to the gold trading situation or gold selling situation right now in New World, the catastrophically failed MMO that I once was very excited for, but now is a complete garbage fire of misery. Look into what's happening with gold selling on that game at the moment to find out just how welcome this kind of real money trading would be in games with or without NFTs and blockchains. They only make the games worse, you morons. NFTs are not the future of gaming. They cannot, should not, will not be the future of gaming. The only reason is because so few people understand fully what NFTs are and what a complete grift they are. The people who want to make money fast can trick people into using them, which is what game companies love. These suits that run the game companies, notoriously evil bitches, just to want to sell the stuff to their shareholders. Go, we're going to put NFTs in our game. It's going to make us tons of money. Here's a chart to show you how much money NFTs make, because people are easily tricked and foolish. And that's done. They don't care what happens to the game itself. If they've made their money, they'll happily burn the game down to the ground. We've seen it over and over and over again. And sooner or later, crypto bros and NFT drones are going to learn from their experience. Maybe, probably not. So until then, it falls to people like me to angrily scream at a camera, hoping to reach just one more person out there and go, oh, actually, NFTs are complete bullshit. I won't play any games with NFTs in them on principle. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to the patrons up above there. Hopefully this has just got all the bile out of my system for today, and I'm going back to playing Monster Hunter and watching Mythbusters for the rest of the goddamn day because I feel like shit. Hi, I'm Bloody. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.